Classic Game Room is brought to you by Magnum Skywolf. CGR is supported by fans on Patreon. Thank you. Welcome to Classic Game Room. It's an intergalactic holiday. Pour a beer and celebrate because it's a Vectrex review. This time it's one of the best games on the Vectrex. Allow me to introduce Protector. That's right. A game where you protect things rather than defending them, even though it's very, very similar. It's amazing. Enjoy the review of Protector on the Vectrex. Am I holding that the right way? Yes, good. Ooh, that's a first. Don't confuse this game with Defender. You'll defend nothing, and like it, we're protecting these civilians from alien invaders in Protector, which is more of a proactive defense, really. There's no need to worry about defense, provided you've already protected them in the first place. On the Vectrex, released in 2003, this is a fabulous homebrew game. In fact, probably one of the best games I've played on the Vectrex, because it's basically Defender. This comes on the same game cartridge as Yahtzee, which I previously reviewed. That's a Space Invaders clone, and this was sent to the show by Mark from Wixom, Michigan. Thank you, Mark. You were right. This game is incredible. This is one of these games that looks great on screen here, but it looks even better and plays better in person. Protector is spectacular. It gives you 4 different button layout options, which is nice because in true Defender form, you'll use buttons to change direction, thrust, fire, and activate the Smart Bomb. I preferred option 4, which put the thrust and the fire buttons in the middle of the Vectrex 4-button layout, since they're the ones you use the most. What really makes this game good is that it's a clone of a good game to begin with, but it plays incredibly well on the Vectrex. It just looks right. This is the kind of stuff the Vectrex was made for. And while it's not in color, it's more of a faithful reproduction of Defender than what you would have found on the ColecoVision or the Atari. The explosions in particular look really good, and you'll see that a lot because Protector is merciless. There's just something special about that Vectrex screen. Vector graphics can't be duplicated. Like Yahtzee, it's a black and white game on the Vectrex screen. When I'm playing it with the Mindstorm overlay, that gives it more of a blue look, obviously. When you turn out the lights, you can start to see more of the details like the humans on the ground and the mountains. But you don't really have to worry about them so much as the things that you're trying to protect them from, which are really hard to kill. Especially those ones that turn into multiple bombs and then just run right into you. If you've ever played Defender before, you should have a pretty good idea how to play this. Ultimately, it will leave you shaking on the ground, muttering to yourself. But that's why we like Defender. It's just so incredibly smooth. It looks even better in person, and of course the sound is wonderful. The Vectrex can do great sound. It's a shame that this is a modern era release. Had this come out back in the day in 1982 or 1983, maybe the Vectrex would have saved the world from the great video game collapse of the early 80s. Stupid flying saucers. And instead of everyone crediting Nintendo and worshipping Mario and Pokemon and Zelda, kids would be running around with Mindstorm and Solar Quest shirts on, and Spike would be the hot character. Molly! I, for one, am proud to be part of the Vectrex Master Race. Prices have skyrocketed lately for the Vectrex. I love to tell the tale of a time when I was at a show with my Vectrex. Someone offered me $400 for it, and I said no, $100,000. And they didn't have a sense of humor about that at all, actually. I thought I was being generous. Realistically, it's worth a cool million. What when the games are this good? Can you put a price on protecting humans from aliens with vector graphics? No. Priceless. Keep in mind, this is more like the arcade version of Defender with the thrust button. So Defender came with the original Thrust Master, thrusting you right into enemies that destroy you. The joystick will move you up and down on screen, and in case you've been living under a rock since 1980, what you do in Defender or Protector is fly left and right. You can change direction with the, well, depending on which button you set. I use the far right button to change directions. Keep an eye on your radar, blast enemies before they pick up the humans and turn into mutants, or whatever they do in this game. Once you get past level 1, keep an eye out for those super irritating enemies that turn into multiple enemies and then leave prizes behind that kill you. Basically everything in this game kills you. If you stay on screen too long, the UFO comes out and kills you. If you outlast that thing, the pterodactyl from Joust will actually fly into your house and attack you in real life. It's amazing what they can do these days with vector graphics. Woo! As in Defender, you score bonus points for the humans that you save, you score bonus points for the humans left alive, and in the end, everyone dies horribly, screaming in pain. Especially those of you being attacked by the pterodactyl, whose wives come home and find a giant bloody mess, and an extremely well-fed pterodactyl smiling by your Vectrex. How's that for a picture? Thanks again to Mark from Wixom, Michigan. This is such a fun game, and of course, it's even twice as good when it comes on the same game cartridge as a clone of Space Invaders. What? Yossi and Protector. I'm not sure where you can find one of these days. Watch my Yossi review. Search online. Maybe the next time you hop into a time-traveling DeLorean, bring a copy of this game back with you and change the future. Oh! High score on the Vectrex, which is the highest score of all. Instead of bazillions of kids walking around like mindless zombies staring into their phones playing Pokemon Go, they can be walking around with Vectrexes and miles of extension cords playing Protector. Oh. Yes! Not bad for a Tuesday. If you're going to buy the game anyway, buy it through ClassicGameRoom.com. Classic Game Room is supported by fans on Patreon. Thank you. Now prepare for the Lord Carnage Club, where I celebrate these backers on Patreon by shouting their name in a volcano! Derek Langley. Beer is the trick. Steven Chucknick. From New Jersey! Michael Fernandez! People not named Michael Fernandez aren't Michael Fernandez. Al Stiver! Woo! EDM! Jason from British Columbia. Philip Strabenmuller from Vienna, Austria. Cue the thunder. Jeff, Captain Dauntless, Breyer. Cue the lava. I don't know what lava sounds like. It sounds like this. Jack Stavris from Australia. Ohad Kane, Master of Thunder. Chip Sankvale, Fighter of Space Bees. Woo! Rick DeBarros gets the extra disco. Michael and Ariana Nelson, Fighters of the Future. That's enough disco, because now it's time to shout, Busy Signal! That's right, and keep the volume loud, and the party rocking for... Sean Zoltek. Really? No. Sean Zoltek! Sergio Matthias Hairgurt! Tubular! Will!